So Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 came out pretty recently, and honestly, I'm a little disappointed. So in this video, I'm going to share my thoughts on the chapter and why I thought it was disappointing. And also, a big spoiler warning for this video. I'm going to be spoiling stuff from this chapter, so if you don't want to get spoiled, please click off the video now. But if you're still here, let's get right into the video. So before Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 released, I was actually really excited for this chapter. Since I had always liked Poppy Playtime from Chapter 1 and 2, I thought they were fun, and then Chapter 3 came along and I just absolutely loved this game. Chapter 3 was absolutely amazing. I loved it. It was a lot scarier than most mascot horror games out there. I thought the story was really good. It got really dark. And I thought the creature designs were absolutely phenomenal there. So I had very high hopes for Chapter 4. And then it came out and I was disappointed. First, I think we should maybe talk about the characters. So let's talk about Dowie. Dowie was actually not a disappointing part of this game. I found Dowie to be quite a good character. Possibly one of my favorite characters in this franchise. I just thought Dowie's character writing and animations and everything about him was just really good. And yeah, when it comes to scariness, he isn't exactly scary most of the time, but he's an ally in most of this chapter. And I don't think allies in horror games have to be scary exactly. But he probably has the most creepy design in this game in like his final form for like the final part of the game. I don't think it's as scary as a lot of the creature designs in Chapter 3, but it's probably the scariest in this chapter. I also just really like how they wrote Dowie as a character. But then on the other side we have the Doctor, and he was quite a disappointing character. I had very high hopes for him. I thought he sounded so interesting. But he was absolutely wasted in my opinion. And like the final part with him was kind of just anticlimactic, lackluster, and disappointing. And the Doctor's design isn't exactly the scariest. And speaking of not being scary, we have Yarnaby. And honestly, Yarnaby was not scary at all. I think he's just too colorful to be scary, and his face isn't really scary either. He looks more cute than scary. And I know his face can like open in two and there's a mouth in there, but that's not exactly scary in my opinion. I don't think there's any sort of scariness or creepiness about this design. And Yarnaby didn't really get utilized that much in this chapter honestly. And we also had Baba Chops, and also she was not really utilized that much. And also her design is not creepy at all. She's kind of just a plushie. That's kind of just everything about her. I actually saw someone say something that I kind of agree with. And that is a theory that Mob Entertainment actually just made Baba Chops and the other nightmare critters just to sell plushies of them. And I mean, it would make sense because like the nightmare critters play like no role in this game. They were like small enemies that the smiling critters actually just could have used up. Like there was no need to create the nightmare critters. The only reason was probably just to sell plushies of them. Because I'm guessing the smiling critter plushies probably sold well, so they wanted to create the nightmare critters. And the last character I want to talk about is Pianosaurus. I thought it was honestly going to play a much bigger role in this game. But I mean, I don't care that much that he was just killed straight away. I never really cared about his design, so yeah, I don't care that he was killed right away. It was kind of funny actually that he was just killed off straight away. But yeah, this chapter isn't really as creepy as I hoped it will be. Like I was kind of expecting more of like the creepy factor and stuff after Chapter 3. Because I think Chapter 3 was actually pretty scary and creepy and all that stuff. Chapter 3 was able to give me the heebie-jeebies. I was kind of hoping Chapter 4 would go in like the same direction. But no, it was just not really creepy or scary at all. As I said earlier, the character designs are just not it. Like the character designs, they're good if you just look at them without thinking about that this is supposed to be a horror game. But since this is a horror game, I don't really like the character designs in this chapter that much. I don't really think most of these creatures are that scary honestly. I think Chapter 3 still peaked in Poppy Playtime's creepiness, and Chapter 4 was just not it. And also the puzzles in this chapter was just not as good as the other chapters. Like yeah, maybe it was better than Chapter 1, but that's probably just due to this chapter being much longer. but this chapter definitely didn't have better puzzles than chapter 3, and I think I like chapter 2's puzzles more. I love me some good puzzles in video games, but the puzzles in chapter 4 was just kind of lackluster. Because I think Poppy Playtime has always had good puzzles, but the puzzles here were just kind of boring and just not really much special. I kind of want to touch upon the Baba Chop section, because I did not like that section at all. It might be a skill issue, but I just thought that part was kind of annoying. Like, you're down in this pit that isn't really big, and then you have Baba Chops like chasing you almost constantly. Or if she isn't chasing you, she'll probably bump into you pretty often. And what you have to do is you have to look for these batteries in like these cages. But the problem is that this game is dark. Like, the lighting is so dark in that section. So it was just so hard to like figure out what to do. And I don't really think that well under stress, so it took me so long. But I don't think the darkness helped at all. The darkness just made this really annoying. In the end, I decided to turn up the brightness for that section just because it was getting pretty annoying. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that section. And also, the final thing I want to talk about with this game is that it's a lot more buggy than the other chapters. Well, I know a lot of the other chapters have bugs that you can like abuse for speedrunning and stuff, but a lot of those bugs you're not really going to experience in a regular playthrough. But these bugs, I was not looking for bugs. I wasn't looking to like break the game or anything. I was just looking to have a normal experience, but I did find a lot of bugs. Like, I think the biggest bug that bothered me a bit was like in a section that I think is supposed to be like a stealth section where Yarnaby's like supposed to be roaming around the place and you have to be quiet so that he doesn't spot you. He did not show up in this section. And also, I fell out of the map twice. I don't really fall out of the map in games that much. I've never fallen out of the map in Poppy Playtime before, but here I fell out of the map twice. There were some other bugs with like, sometimes I just had the purple hand and the flare hand and not the other hands I was supposed to have, so I just had to reload from my last checkpoint to get the hands back, which was kind of annoying sometimes. But kind of just the most annoying bug was a bug that gave me like the wrong missions. Cause like there were some sections where it gave me the run mission and just played like chasing music. And I had to load back an old checkpoint. One time I had to load back pretty far. Well, not pretty far, but further than I would want to. I will say some good things about this chapter though. I think the voice acting is really good, as it has always been. I think most of the characters are done really well here. And I thought the whole twist at the end with like Ollie being the prototype was handled really well, and everyone's reaction to it. I thought that section was just handled really well. And yeah, the part with Ollie being the prototype, it was kind of predictable and a lot of people theorized it, but I do think it was executed pretty well though. So yeah, overall, Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 was just kind of disappointing. And look, I am not looking to hate Poppy Playtime. I love this game. I thought Chapter 1 and 2 were pretty fun, Chapter 3 was amazing. I just wish Chapter 4 could have been better, honestly. But yeah, there are some good things about this chapter, but I think the bad stuff kind of outweighs the good. But I'm still looking forward to Chapter 5 and hoping that it'll be an improvement over Chapter 4. But yeah, what did you guys think about Poppy Playtime Chapter 4? Let me know in the comments below. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye!